Yo. Do, do, do. Is it doing both? I certainly hope so, because I don't want us to go through all this crap twice. Alright, thank you for bearing with me. It is I, Xbox Live's Backroom, back again, playing some more Guild of Dungeoneering. But today I want to talk about something a little bit different. I want to talk about the DC Cinematic Universe. Right now, ooh, that's kind of neat. In the DC Universe today, they just released an article to Fortune magazine as some advertising, saying that the Luthor in Dawn of Justice is not Lex Luthor, it is Alexander Luthor, his son. And I thought, well, that explains why he's such an idiot, and why he's not a very interesting character. But it made me think, why did they go that route? And they've already shown Doomsday, and it looks like they took some sort of DNA or what have you from the dead General Zod and made some sort of clone to fight against Superman, which is super. But Jesse Eisenberg, who is a great actor, I enjoy Jesse Eisenberg. He can be really good. He's playing this sort of goofy. Maybe he'll be more menacing in the film, I can only presume. But it just doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track. The idea that this is Lex Luthor, I'm glad that it's actually not, because they would make a really shitty Lex Luthor. So it's Alexander Luthor, fine. But I was thinking today, the only reason you would ever use Alexander Luthor is if you're going to go, whole hog and go ahead and just say, hey, we are doing Crisis on Infinite Earths. And then I stopped myself and said, oh shit, they're doing Crisis on Infinite Earths, or something along those lines. They are seeing that Marvel is going to go ahead, whole hog, full strength, way crazy with Infinity War. And they've already built up all this sort of foundational background with Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the MCU. And so DC is thinking, hey, what the hell do we have to do to keep up with something that big? And when you think of DC events, you think of Crisis. Whether it be Crisis on Earth 2, Crisis on Multiple Earth, Crisis on Infinite Earth is where I think they're going to go. Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, so on and so forth. But I don't know how that's going to work. If they're going to do that, they're going to have to jettison the Anti-Monitor, because really that's like one of the dumbest villain names and kind of dumbest villain concepts they've ever had, the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor. And we know, even though it's going to be kind of ugly, Mermaid's going to kill me, because of the similarities in their appearance, we know that the big bad is eventually going to have to be Darkseid, especially if they've already gone through Zod and Doomsday. They're going to get to Darkseid, sooner rather than later. And I can only presume that what they're going to do here is have Darkseid find the anti-life equation. You know, his primary goal in most of the comics is to find the anti-life equation. And then maybe have him act as the Anti-Monitor in that role, have him perhaps use the anti-life equation to actually like erase planets, erase universes. And it's not directly tied in with the fact that they're using Alexander Luthor. It's just that was his big storyline, was Crisis. And I hope they're not going to say, you know, this is Earth 2 or Earth X or Earth S, all the various Earths that they have. But it got me thinking, and that's all it was. Just I wanted to get that out there and say, oh my goodness, with the inclusion of Alexander Luthor, hey, I beat that boss surprisingly easy. Now, Cartomancer is the boss in this game. They are so overpowered.
But what we have here,
but the fact, what is this? New battle scar? Oh, when you go through a couple times, you get new bonuses. Nice. But yeah, when you go away from the badass Lex Luthor and drop over to curly-haired goofball, just not nearly as compelling a character, Alexander Luthor, you're gonna go Crisis. If you wanted to get a good Luthor again, the best Luthor that I've ever seen in any sort of non-comic media was, unsurprisingly, Clancy Brown in the Superman the animated series, also Justice League and the various spin-offs there. But that's just basically because it's fucking Clancy Brown. If you got Clancy Brown now, and I know he's getting on in years, but if you got Clancy Brown, shaved his head, you know, give him some time to, you know, hit the gym again, get back in shape, and play the Luthor he played in the show, who is really a peak human in every aspect. You know, he's stronger, more fit, smarter, wealthier, just generally a cut above. And there's his motivation. You know, he always wants to be the best. He always thinks he is the best. And then Superman comes along, who is better than him in so many ways, simply by existing. So how is the ego, you know, how is Lex going to deal with that? And that may be one of the reasons why he wants to get rid of Superman. In this article that they posted in, what options here? The article that they had in Fortune magazine, they even talked about how Lex Sr. was an immigrant to the United States from an unspecified European country where the government was in control for the people's own good, for their protection and such. And they even use the cheesy language. Well, heck, I'd hate to see something like that happen here. Obviously talking about Superman. This movie looks bad. It looks bad. I'm sorry. It's no good. If they had just simply brought in the comics Luthor, brought in a guy who thinks he's the best, wants to be the best, and when he meets a guy who is better than him, he flips. He loses his shit. That would be a perfectly acceptable way for this to go for me. We're going to put on a bandana, cookie pot, pigeon nest. Bandana is the best because we get to draw a card, which is what you would do as the Cartomancer. Oh shit, I'm going over here. I gotta get through this boss. What level is that? Alright, I'm gonna get this jewel. I'm gonna come back. Monkey, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I can get this way. Oh, I see. How the hell do I get into that spot? No, I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted by the game. I'm not really talking about the DC Cinematic Universe anymore. How the fuck do you get into this spot? Let's go for it. Let's push it to the limit. Put a monkey here. And put this right there. So how do they want to bridge the gap? With Wonder Woman, they're going to go back and do perhaps the World War II story of why she left Paradise Island. They got Chris Pine, I believe, as Steve Trevor, which is fine, I suppose. Not exactly the most charismatic guy. I couldn't sit through either of the Star Trek films. Don't like Star Wars either. And Batman, unless they're going to, they can't go prequel with him because they've already kind of got his storyline of existing, and I guess they could. I wouldn't go for it. Would he, I guess, get the Joker back as his primary villain after Suicide Squad, which also looks bad? I mean, I don't know what they're thinking with Suicide Squad. It's just a mess. Joker is a mess. I like the fan theory that it's not the Joker. I forget who it was. It's supposed to be like a former Robin. Anyway, they kind of did that with Return of the Joker on the animated series and such. I don't buy it, but maybe it's a way to explain how bad it is. I don't... none of it looks good. None of it looks good. I would prefer, if the Joker's going to drive around in a ridiculous car, give him the Joker mobile. Give him something stupid. Make it something that deals with the Joker himself, as opposed to the Joker in a... I understand you need to reinvent. You cannot have the same shit over and over, or it's going to get stale. And they've done a good job of that. When you go from the Man Who Laughs, then you get into, he's just kind of on and off character, going through the Red Hood gang, and then you get to Batman 66, and then you get to the animated series. Oh, you get to Nicholson, and then you get animated series, and then you get Ledger. You've had some good Jokers. I'm going to give you that. But I've got nothing against Jared Leto. I'm sure he's a fine gentleman. He does his work, shuts his mouth. I don't care. I don't like the look. Harley Quinn. I find it strange that she's become somehow a voice of empowerment for a lot of girls, considering she is literally an abused girlfriend, mentally, physically. She's a problematic character, just as the Joker. He is a villain and she is a victim. Even when she goes out on her own as a villain, or in her relationship with Poison Ivy, she comes back to being a victim. And she's a great character. She's an interesting character for that, but for her to be this sudden role model for girls is disturbing. And I don't like the Hot Topic Harley Quinn that they did for the Arkham games, and that's kind of translated here into the film. And I'm sure I'm like, Abe Simpson, old man yells at cloud, or Principal Skinner. Maybe it's me who's out of touch. No, it's the children. But yeah, I prefer the old Harlequin style outfit for Harley Quinn. Part of the gimmick, the fact that they've taken her so far away from her roots as a character. I'm just not into it. And obviously, like I said, I'll take the bleed. It is great to be able to reinvent characters. It is essential to keep them fresh and attracting a new audience. I am with you. I support you. Yes, please do. Where are you going, dick nuts? Oh, she's gonna attack in 5 turns. Alright, whatever. Sure, I'll give you a path, yeah. Nah, give him a path, he gets it away. I don't know. But that's where I think it's gonna go. They have Alexander Luthor as the primary villain, leading us to Crisis on X number of Earths. Multiple Earths. And it's going to lead to Darkseid taking the role of the Anti-Monitor and trying to erase Earth from existence, perhaps our entire universe, with the anti-life equation. Do with that information what you will, my friends. I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to finish this game up, get to bed. It is far too late for me. I'm an old man. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree that the inclusion of Alexander Luthor means we're going to move towards Crisis, or do you think it's just red herring, or that I'm an idiot? These are all very distinct and realistic possibilities. Drop a comment, hit me up on Twitter at ATI channel, and I will see all of you lovely ladies and gentlemen next time. Thanks.